Gentlemen, what is going on? I feel like I haven't made a video in so goddamn long, and I haven't. It's been probably like, I don't know, like 2 weeks at most. You know, with the internet and YouTube and all that shit. 1 week might as well be like an entire year. But anyway, we are out here in the great outdoors enjoying this walk. I'm on a solo hike right now, just trying to get some fresh air. You know, had a lot of things to do this week. Did also have some downtime, but for the most part, I was just, you know, taking care of some things I didn't get a chance to do. But anyway, moving on, I wanted to talk to y'all about not necessarily the channel, but just the overall vibe of this content and just the manosphere in general, right? Now, a couple warnings here. First of all, I'm using the mic that is on the built into the camera and not the mic that I typically use. So if the audio quality is a little bit different here, then I apologize. Also, for some reason, they're doing construction here in this area, so you might hear some machinery from time to time. And lastly, I'm not editing shit. So if you are the type of person who needs like the B-rolls and the quick edits because you've got the attention span of a fucking goldfish, then this video is not for you either. But if none of those things bother you, then let's go ahead and roll. So I've made a couple videos before talking about the manosphere and, you know, how manosphere content essentially is cooking your brain more or less. And funnily enough, you know, I'm starting to see more and more guys that were, you know, manosphere creators or red pill adjacent, however you like to title it. I'm seeing more men kind of speak out and say the same. And, you know, I gotta give these guys some credit, and also I gotta give myself some credit. Hold on, I just walked to the end of this road because they're dead ass doing construction. I don't know if you can see that up there, but they got a caterpillar up there, and I'm not trying to get crushed by a log or by some tracks. So we're gonna keep moving. So I gotta give a lot of these guys credit because, you know, it's very interesting to see how a lot of people are starting to not so much speak out about this kind of stuff, but, you know, just share their own opinions and thoughts on this kind of content. And I felt like, you know what, I might as well just throw my hat into the ring as well, because listen, at the end of the day, you know, you can make content like this, but I think at some point when it starts affecting your personal life, or when you get the realization that the stuff that you make, especially as a content creator, is affecting other people, that's when it's a problem. Hold on, my battery's running out of life. I gotta delete some files, hold on a second. All right, y'all, I'm back and I'm seated. I watched the couple of seconds of the first clip and noticed that the camera's all over the place. So I figured I'd go ahead and sit down. So let's get back to the topic, and the topic is manosphere content. And going back to what I was saying before, so I made videos talking about how manosphere content might not be the best for you or just for men in general. But I've also noticed that there are some men who have made that kind of content also talking about it now as well. And one thing I would want to say to that before I dive into everything else that I want to talk about is, you know, you'll notice a lot of the bigger channels, they don't speak out on it, not so much simply because this is their bread and butter, right? Like they have to talk about this kind of stuff. So in one way or another, they're kind of stuck in that content creation. They're stuck making that kind of content. But for a lot of content creators such as myself, or, you know, other people in the sub 20,000 subscriber niche, I do believe that there's an opportunity to pivot. There's at least an opportunity to pivot for me, because to be honest, as consistent as I should be with content creation, I'm just doing so many other things that, you know, this isn't necessarily the biggest priority for me, I should say. I do have a passion for, you know, wanting to talk about these things and talk about social dynamics in general, and also offer my own 2 cents to men. But, you know, your dog's got to hustle in other ways. So, you know, I'm busy doing other things. But with all that being said, I want to talk about, just briefly, about the direction that this channel is going to be moving in going forward. And I think that'll also help me speak to what I wanted to talk about and essentially make this video for, besides trying to hit a monthly quota that I made for myself, you know, bullshit like that. But the direction of this channel. Now, first things first, personally, I love talking about social dynamics, and I love talking about the intricacies of human nature. That's just something I like talking about, and I'll always talk about it from a male perspective, simply because I am one, right? Now, with all things considered, how that message is put across, or how it comes across, I think is much more important than I've realized, especially as time has gone on. And the only reason why I'm coming to these realizations, as stupid as this might sound, is because I'm seeing some of the... You gotta be kidding me. Hold on, y'all. I gotta delete some more shit because for whatever reason, this memory stick is just doesn't have enough memory. Hold on. All right, so let's try this again for the third time. So going back to what I was saying, the way the message comes across is not conducive to any sort of conversation that we want to have. More so than that, this is a very layered and nuanced conversation, and there are a lot of people who just won't highlight that. And I understand why they won't, because it's a business decision not to. Why would I talk about nuance if my platform is built off of outrage and pissing people off all day? Why would I talk about nuance? This is why I'm saying smaller channels have an opportunity to pivot and talk about some real shit, because they're not in too deep in regards to the money. You know, for a lot of these guys, a lot of these creators, they're just grifters, man. Like, let's just be real and call it for what it is. A lot of these guys that we watch, I'm not going to say any names because I'm not trying to start internet beef, nor do I give a fuck, to be quite honest. But, you know, there are a lot of these dudes out here that are simply grifting and regurgitating the same talking points over and over again just because they know men, or I should say naive men, will be more open and willing to listen to this stuff. And it's gotten so bad to the point where now these things are political. Most of y'all dudes that were independent, you know, I claimed independent as far as my party affiliation, but most of y'all who claimed independent were more open to voting for Trump simply because you were mad at women. And we gotta be honest about that. I'm in a lot of these spaces where, you know, these men are talking about women in, you know, these different channels, whether that be on Facebook or Instagram, and I use a lot of it just for content sourcing. But one thing that I'm noticing and I'm realizing, A, not only is it repetitive, B, it's not conducive to males themselves, because a lot of these guys are disgruntled. I mentioned this before, but I'm working on a video essay that's gonna include a lot of these things that I'm mentioning here, but there are a lot of disgruntled men out there, and there are a lot of men who are love starved, they're touch deprived, and I can understand why they would be upset. But these places are nothing more than echo chambers, and as someone who is making this kind of content, not only was I contributing, to the problem, but I also wasn't really giving a solution per se. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, there really is no solution. There's no solution other than being like someone worth hanging out with, because, you know, a lot of the things that women mention about men that they don't like, I truthfully believe that those are the very same qualities that us men don't like in other men. And the way I know that this might be factual is that when you think about women who embody more masculine traits, quote unquote, right? Because these are all societal, you know, semantics that we place upon things anyway. But when you find a woman or run into a woman who acts more masculine, one of the first things you notice is that they're more brutish, they're an asshole, they're condescending, they're sarcastic, and a lot of these qualities that we label these masculine women are directly correlated and run in parallel with men that we don't like either. Like, you let me know in the comments if you genuinely like chilling with an asshole. You let me know in the comments, but I doubt that you do. And the same goes for both parties, right? So a lot of the content that we're making is content that's just geared towards making people upset, pissing people off, and, you know, eventually just furthering the divide between men and women. And this is where I feel personally I have to change and pivot my conversation. Not so much the talking points, because, you know, a lot of people might give me some backlash for this, but to some degree, obviously not everything is valid, but to some degree there are validity in these conversations. The problem arrives when A, the message is not digested in the format that it should be, and B, the message isn't genuine to begin with. A lot of it comes across as people doing nothing more than trying to pander to a specific group of people. Whether that be men or women, that's a whole different conversation. But for the most part, a lot of people simply pander to their party, right? Like, even for the women who make men-based content, like, bruh, I see so many of y'all dudes in these comments talking about how this chick gets it, this chick understands. Fam, she's here for the money. Like, why don't you understand this? Like, women like just pearly things and, you know, offering, that is the one name I'm gonna drop, and I'm not even dropping it because of beef. I mean, listen, Pearly, if you see this, you see this. Ain't really much else I can do, right? But I'm not trying to roast, but for somebody who has so much to say about relationships and how to be the ideal woman to be chosen, why does she not have a man? Or why does she not have a man? Can someone answer me that question? For real. You know, for guys who talk about, you know, not dating single mothers and all this kind of shit, why do some of them actually have single mothers for spouses and for girlfriends or wives, or, you know, however you want to put it all together? The point of what I'm trying to say is a lot of this gender war bullshit that we talk about is just that. It's bullshit. Because at the core of all of it, most of the stuff that we talk about is based on human nature. Like, for the guys that complain about how women can be manipulative and, you know, how they could take advantage of you, this, that, and the third, it's like, dog, first of all, anyone could take advantage of you. That's number one. Just about anyone can take advantage of you. And number two, for you to not understand that you're being manipulated or taken advantage of, or for you to simply just go along with it, is your own fault. You know, I think we do ourselves a lot of disservice when we try to pass off blame to the next person. And, you know, as nefarious as that person might be, it's still on you to be able to disseminate, observe the red flags, and then make the decision to say, okay, I need to step away from the situation. But here's the ultimate crux of that problem. A lot of us are codependent as fuck. At some point or another, I was codependent as well, and I found myself not in a litany of terrible situations or relationships rather, but I did find myself in some relationships that really opened my eyes. And for lack of a better word, or just for lack of better understanding, it gave me that perspective of having the assumption all women are like this. And I have to be the one to say it, and you can call me a simp if you want, but brother, not all women are like this. Not all. Now, are there some things that are just part of human nature, and just for the sake of semantics, are there some things that are just a part of female nature and just something that women have the proclivity or a higher propensity to do? Yes. But in some regards, there are some things that, you know, again, being devil's advocate here, but there are a lot of things that women talk about that can be attributed to men, and some of them are largely negative. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, where do we draw the line and start having logical conversations? Because if we get upset at women saying all men are the same, how in the fuck in the same breath with the same chest then turn around and say all women are the same when we vehemently argued that men are different? Like, we vehemently argue that there are some good men out there, but then we're gonna turn around and then have the same stupid myopic perspective as most of these women that hate men. How does that make sense? How does that make any fucking sense? Now, can we highlight, you know, certain situations and aspects in relationships? Yes, and that's something that I will definitely continue to do. Just from a business perspective, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I'm here for the money. I mean, listen, the channel's monetized for a reason, right? Like, I'm not sitting here, you know, doing this as a hobby. My hobbies are painting, writing books, and doing a whole bunch of other shit. This is not one of them. I do this for money. But let's be clear on one thing. Talking on certain topics will always be there, right? So I know some of y'all like that celebrity relationship gossip. So yeah, you know, I'm gonna talk about that kind of stuff, right? But I will try my damnedest, and I will try my absolute hardest to sorry, there's a fly flying around, so you might have seen that on the lens. But I will try, as a creator, I will try my absolute hardest to ensure that when I talk about these topics, they always come from a observational perspective. Like, I'm not gonna talk about this kind of shit because I'm trying to dunk on the woman or dunk on the guy. Fellas, we need to understand that this kind of shit is human nature, and both or all or five or however many genders you think there are, nigga, all of them have the same tendencies. I don't know why that was so funny, but it was. But no, seriously, I don't care how many genders you think there are. We all have the same tendencies. We just do some of them more or less. But for the most part, nigga, we're all the same. We're all the same. I just think that these conversations are they're foolish now. You know, like, Yo, you'll have a bunch of dudes. I got like 4 minutes left on my my camera. But anyway, matter of fact, let's get the fuck up out of here. But there's a bunch of dudes that are on like Instagram and on Facebook and all this shit. Make sure I didn't leave nothing. And all this shit, just, you know, out here just bashing women, making burner accounts. I mean, women make these burner accounts too, and the only question I have, and this could be applied to both parties, is like, okay, you say all the shit you need to say about whatever gender, man or woman. You say all the shit you need to say about that gender, and then you turn off your phone and go sit in your living room or wherever the fuck you live, right? Yeah, most of these people don't even have like I don't even mean to laugh, but what's crazy is that most of these people don't even have good housing situations, yet they're still up on Al Gore's internet talking shit. Crazy to me, but I digress. My question to you is, okay, you did all that. You talked all your shit. You know, said your piece, said what you needed to say on Facebook. You spent hours arguing with someone back and forth. You turn the phone off. You're sitting in your living room, wherever. Now what? Like, now what? Now what, dog? Like, this is what confuses me. It's because both men and women on both sides, the both of you are going at each other's necks all fucking day. But what are you really accomplishing? Like, you making a burner account to talk shit. What are you getting done, my G? Like what are we accomplishing here? What is the point of you doing all this? So I say all that to say, I'm still gonna make this kind of content, but it's gonna be drastically different. I wanna have a conversation. I want to talk about these things in a conducive manner. I'm not sitting here, you know, just straight up dunking on bitches and dunking on niggas all day. It's pointless. It's fucking pointless. And even though that kind of stuff would get me more views, because I know it will, I have integrity. That's really it. I have integrity. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Once again, none of this shit is edited, so I hope you bared with me and appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you like the video? Do you have anything you want to add to the conversation? Do you not like me? Do you got some shit you want to say? Whatever it is, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video on Monday. Peace.